adult. You're the one mentoring,
Military, you got to deal with people that's not from your block.
mentoring and helping be leaders and helping shape these young men.
This country was made great by so many accomplishments.
Today on Raw and Real Vet Talk with PJ, we have a special guest and an incredible woman. Not only is she a military vet, hoorah, but an aviator commander and served in both the Navy and the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome Merryl Tengesdal. Tengesdal. If I said it wrong,
Yes.
she's gonna beat me down, man. She's been both.
Nah.
Merryl Tengesdal, would like to welcome you to Raw and Real with PJ. How you doing today?
I'm fine, PJ. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, thank you. Like you seem pretty a pretty interesting person. Starting off, thank you for your service from one vet to another.
Thank you. Thank you for your support and service as well. So
Yeah. I mean, I do. I really appreciate it. I mean, you're one of the 1%ers. You know what I mean? You raise your hand to serve and protect millions and millions of people who you don't even know. And it's really genuine from me. Also, as far as a vet, understanding your sacrifice and what you did. So I really want to thank you. But then all that you did too. You were Navy and Air Force.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. I started my service out in the Navy in 1994, and I did that for 10 years. And then I switched over to the Air Force in 2004 and stayed with the program, the U2 program, for 13 years, and I retired in 2017.
Wow. Okay. So, Merryl, can you tell for everyone that's listening, what made you decide to join the Navy?
For me, for the Navy, we got to go back to when I was 7 years old. So I always aspired to be an astronaut. I watched too much science fiction, too much Star Trek. And in part of my journey, as I went to college.
Yep, there it is. I got that pink you don't want to get right.
As I went to college, I knew I was going to join a branch of service. So it was either going to be Navy or Air Force. I was in Air Force ROTC at the time. The Air Force at that time didn't really resonate with me. No offense, but I came full circle. And so when I graduated, I decided I was going to join the Navy. So I applied for the Navy officer candidate school, so OCS, and I got accepted and went there in June of '94 and started, and I got commissioned in September of '94. So
Nice.
that's how it began.
So when you started that, okay, so you graduated from the University of New Haven.
Yes.
With a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering.
Yep, can't spell geek without two E's.
but then it's like, okay, but then you're a geek and some, what is it? We call it jock. I mean, you played ball too, right?
I did. I played for 1 year at my university. We were a Division II school, so I played. I was a walk-on, and I played ball for a year, which was fun. It was a good time, but I was also doing basketball. I was doing ROTC. I was taking 18 credit hours in engineering. So something had to give.
Yeah.
And the basketball team wasn't giving me a scholarship, so there was no reason for me to stay on. I was like, yeah, that's great, but you got to go. I got to focus on other. And I was also doing work studies, so I was definitely being pulled in a whole bunch of directions. And that was just one of the things that fell by the wayside, so I could focus on getting the degree, because that was crucial to part of my, becoming an astronaut.
Nice. Okay, then so let's talk about your time in the Navy. How was that for you?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I love the Navy. You go to officer candidate school, you're being trained by Marine Corps drill instructors. So you have that Marine Corps aspect that is drilled into you from day one.
Yeah.
You start out as this, they call us nasty civilians, and then you come out this officer. For those who are older, that's seen Officer and a Gentleman. I mean, we are that squared away. It is like serious. And my drill instructor, I kid you not, looked like Louis Gossett Jr. He was scary. This man was a sniper. May he rest in peace. He passed away a couple of years ago, and I love that guy. I would go to hell and back for that man, and he did a phenomenal job. So I mean, I love the Navy. At that time, a lot of the astronauts were naval aviators, so that's what kind of solidified me going through to the Navy. And if
Yeah.
you can land on, whether you fly helicopters, whether you fly jets, if you can land on a boat,
Yeah.
you can land on anything. So
You right.
that
Well,
was my that's
man,
my attitude.
I tell you what though, Cheryl, I'm sorry. I'm Army. Okay. I'm ex-Army. Keep my ass on the land. Okay. Like, yo, this brother, like I'm talking about, like you want to be on this boat for how long?
6 months at a time. Why? You didn't want to go fly? Sorry, my cat wants some love up here. So
Cats need loving too.
um yeah, the water aspect, it's not a big deal. I mean, there was definitely a lot of training. We do a lot of water survival
Yeah,
training.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
guys look at that show, what is that show that I've been watching? The Special Forces on Fox, where
yeah,
they
yeah,
like
yeah.
they get into a car and they go into the water. I mean, we do that in the plane. So I've
Wow.
done, dunker training. They call it dunker training, helicopter dunker training,
Yeah,
and yeah, they don't mess around. So
yeah.
you
Y'all don't
have to
mess
have a.
around. Y'all don't. But I was like, man, keep my black ass on the land. I was like, like, yo, you want me to do what? No, air assault. Drop me on the land. Don't put me in the water.
No.
So I give you kudos for that. You know what I mean? And so then, all right. So let's talk about then your transition. So you went from Navy to the Air Force. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, and you held a few titles within the Air Force. Can you explain your work that you did in the Air Force, and then what made you go for that transition?
Right. So again, I wanted to be an astronaut. So I joined the Navy for a pilot training slot. So
Yeah,
when I went to training in Corpus Christi, Texas. When I was done with that, I selected helicopters out of there. I went back to Pensacola, birth of naval aviation, cradle of naval aviation. Um, did very well. Got SH-60 Bravos, the
yeah.
Seahawks, out of Mayport. So I started flying helicopters. When I was done flying helicopters, I went back to become a fixed wing instructor. So I became one of four Navy pilots to work at Moody Air Force Base, flying the T-6s, training both Navy and Air Force pilots.
Wow.
At the end of my tour, I still wanted to be an astronaut. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it in the Navy. And then my boss at the time was like, "Hey, come join the Air Force. Come fly some aircraft." And I looked at some of the programs because they had the F-117, they had the
Yeah.
U-2, they had the B-52, B-2s. And the U-2, other than my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, told me about it, this stuck out to me because you wore a pressure suit, you flew above 70,000 feet. Some of the missions that we did were similar to, believe it or not, similar to what the helicopter did. And so I said, let me apply because it's an
Yeah.
application process and you had to be experienced. And that's what I did. And I
Wow.
got picked up by the Air Force for an interview, went out to interview, and then I got asked to be part of the U2, the small cadre of brothers and sisters in the U2 program. So I accepted.
Man, that's incredible. And then not only that, Cheryl, speaking of incredible, so let's talk about that experience, right?
I gotta tell you, it's Merrill, not Cheryl.
Merrill, oh my gosh. Merrill,
I know it's a long day.
I'm gonna owe you burpees. Like Merrill, like my morning still start at 0 dark 30. Like
I know. No,
zero.
you don't owe me burpees. You owe me bourbon.
It's going down. Oh man. Oh, Merrill, yeah, I got you. You let me know. We're gonna talk about that after. Which one you like?
Okay.
I got you. You're gonna get a special package airdropped.
Oh,
But I'm
oh,
not
thank
flying it.
you.
I'm not flying it to you. It would not make it there if you had me flying it. All right. Speaking of flying it, uh, so you retired in 2017, and as
Yes,
a colonel,
yes,
wow. And so then, as a colonel, you had more than 3,400 flight hours and
yes.
330 combat hours which is incredible. Okay, so you've seen your combat.
I have. I did Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom. So, um,
Nice. What uh
you
what what
know,
what years were you over there, if you don't mind me asking?
I was over there in 2005,
Mm,
2006. I think 2005 to 2007, I flew missions over there off and on. In the YouTube community, we go, usually we rotate every 2 months.
Yeah.
So I flew operations out of there, and I've also flown missions in the U2 in Osan and over in the Mediterranean off of Cyprus.
Nice. So my one of my deployments probably ran into each other. I was over in I was deployed during that 2005, 2006. So I was there in Iraq. So Camp Biop, TQ
Yeah,
Toledo, like I was all over Iraq. So a small world.
it is definitely a small world. I'm sure I have flown over your head once or twice out there.
Yeah, that's pretty
Absolutely.
right. And then speaking of flown over my head, so I see you not only you have the shirt on too, okay? So
Yeah.
the YouTube program for listeners that are not understanding or knowing about that, can you explain and tell them what that YouTube program is, and then what is behind the nickname, the Dragon Lady?
Right. So the U-2 program was the U-2 is an aircraft. It's a reconnaissance, intelligence surveillance reconnaissance aircraft, aka spy plane. So what we do is that we fly very high and we take pictures in the form of different types of imagery, whether it's electrical, optical, infrared, Doppler. We also listen to signals. We pick up signals in the air, and we take all that information and we send it off board to be analyzed by different agencies throughout the United States. And
Okay.
so the U2 has been around since 1955. It's nicknamed the U2 Dragon Lady. It's a Lockheed Martin aircraft. It was developed by Kelly Johnson. And in 1955, it started flying missions and flying programs under the CIA. It was a black program, so a lot of people didn't know about it. It flew missions over Russia, and eventually the Air Force took over that program, and then Air Force pilots have flown it. So the
Wow.
aircraft has basically flown for 67 years. There's been less than 1,100 pilots. I think we're about to graduate pilot, 1098, 99, and 1,100.
Yeah.
And it's just a small group of people. I was told recently that there are more F-35 pilots than there are U-2 pilots, and we've been flying this aircraft for 67 years. So it's most notably known for being shot down in the 1960s. In 1960 with Gary Powers, is it was used in the Cuban Missile Crisis. Um, but we're still using it today. I mean, a couple of
Wow.
weeks ago, it was in the paper for taking, the pilot taking a selfie by the Chinese balloon. So
Really?
um,
Okay.
yes, so we're still out there, 67 years old. The airframe doesn't look like it's changed much, but inside the avionics, it's
Hmm.
still rocking. So we're still
Man.
very relevant. We're doing good things and we're
Yeah.
doing very important missions. So that's basically. So I wore this shirt or similar shirt like this on the reality show Tough as Nails, which I was on season 2 of. And so ever since I've worn it, it was designed by my friend Dana LaBelle, currently a major in the Air Force. And so we use this shirt we sell it for purposes of supporting Mission 22, which is a veteran organization. And so all proceeds go to them. So
I've
that's
heard of
my cat.
point too.
That's my,
Yeah.
say
And
again?
the cat's like, yo, I gotta get mine, mom. Well, at the end, you're definitely gonna have to let me know where I would be able to go and purchase one of those shirts. I
Okay.
would love to support the cause. And then speaking of
Thank you.
yeah, thank you and thanks for bringing awareness to it. Um, uh, anything for the veterans. And so then even with you, like, so you're still so you're one of five women, if I'm not mistaken, or correct me if I'm wrong, and
Yeah,
three
so
black women, okay, to be in this YouTube program.
right. So there's been about in the history of the U2, there's been about 12, I think 10 or 12 women, 10 to 12 women now, because I was number five, and I'm still the first and only black woman to fly the U2.
Wow.
And of people of color in the program, we have maybe around 10 of us now.
Yeah.
Maybe I know most of them, but
Mhm.
there were some that were way before me that I don't know. But yeah, there's not. And you have to look at the numbers as a whole.
Yeah.
Women in the military as of 2020, encompass maybe less than 7% of all pilots in all branches of service.
Wow.
And women of color make up less than 0.2%. So there's not a lot of us. So, when
Okay.
you see one of us, we're definitely unicorns
Yeah.
running around. But, you know, it doesn't take away from the fact that, we got good pilots who fly the U-2. I'm
Yeah.
glad to be amongst them. I mean, I interviewed, I got it. I didn't know, that the numbers were so low. All I knew is that I wanted to be part of an organization that did this mission, that had a
Mm,
brother and sisterhood that was phenomenal, professional,
yeah.
and did some good things. So.
And so with it, I'm curious, like, two things. One, why do you think that is, as far as women pilots in general? Like, why is that, why do you think the numbers are so low?
I mean, this is my personal opinion. I think
Yeah.
a lot of I think, around the age of 11 or 12 in junior high school, there is definitely this shift where um, young women or young girls don't think the STEM studies are a possibility for them.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of organizations are trying to change that. But what I also think is that there are people in underserved communities that do not think that this is a possibility.
Okay.
And, case in point, I talk about when I went to Minnesota at Farmsworth Aerospace Elementary School. And this is a place that is a charter school for underserved youth and they get people from NASA all the time that come in. And when I was there, I came there to speak to their about 1,000 students for a day. Um,
Yeah.
Even there was this young boy, black boy who was holding my hand and we were taking pictures and stuff. And he looked up at me. He's like, "You're black, just like me." So
Mm,
I think it's, those touch points that even though you could say it all day, for
yeah.
some people, if they don't see someone like them,
Yeah.
they will never think it's a reality. And that's just facts. Some people
Yeah.
are motivated by seeing other people who blaze trails. And some people are just motivated because they want to do it and
Yeah.
something has moved inside them. So, there's no judgment on that. But I think as women in the military or as people of color or people of different ethnic groups, once you make it for whatever reason that you made it, you
Yeah.
need to like reach back and try to mentor other kids, regardless of who they
Yeah.
are, and show them that there are other ways. So
And I love that. I'm a firm believer. I mean, the next generation, I feel like is lost into this social media and all these narratives and stuff, and this thing of communication and just like, the personal connections and communications. And I'm like, man, who do you look up to? It's more of these, they look up to these false hopes, the fake reality people and all this, compared to, hey, like, man, look at this pilot, this African American woman pilot over here doing these dope ass missions. You know what I mean? Like, like the stuff you
right.
see in the movies. Like, yo, she's out here, she's doing it, she's living it. So I'm with you on that, man. 100%. And then with even speaking on that, like, yourself, you have a very extensive list of assignments and awards. So with those awards and all these, different missions and stuff, do you have any mission that stands out the most to you as far as your favorite mission? And then do you have an award that you received that, means more to you than others?
I think one of my first missions in the U-2 when I was over in OEF was significant. Um, because I mean it was a good day. It resulted in some casualties on the other side,
Yeah.
right? So, that from a aspect as a soldier and someone who's doing the mission, that was a very successful mission.
Yeah.
Um, and I have an air medal that represents that, and I truly like, that's the day when all your training culminates in
Yep.
getting the job done, right? You
Yep.
train
Yep.
like you fight like you train.
Yep.
I think one of the awards that for me are significant, and it's probably in a different way. In 2008, I won the Aerospace Physiologist of the Year,
Okay.
for for a couple of years, I worked in the Ninth Physiological Support Squadron. At that time, we used to call it it's called PSPTS, or we used to
Mhm.
call it PSD, Physiological Support Detachment. And at that time, I was the acting commander as a major. And there was a lot of drama in there, to include my drama with another major who was a physiologist.
Mhm.
So the funny part is, when the award came up, she had put her name in the hat to be nominated.
Mhm.
And she was giving me a lot. I mean, we could have a whole podcast on women in jobs that are not here to help one another, and it's a leadership thing.
Man, it's like
And
breakdown, not building up. It's like, man.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and she was definitely that example. And I tell you, I was keeping it on the straight, but I remember telling my boss one time in an email, I said,
You.
"You need to put some reins on her, or I'm gonna take her back to the hood." Like, so, and
Yeah.
that was
So you weren't gonna take it behind the barracks, were you?
no, I was like, we it's going down.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
when you're in a certain position, you can't act
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
But you wait for your moments. And I
yeah.
remember she was applying for it, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna put in a package too. And I did. And I won. I won at the wing level. I won at the
Man, beat him,
MAGCOM
kill him with
level.
success, yo.
And it was one of those things, like, probably people don't know, but I did that just to prove a point. Like, look, there's a reason why I'm the acting commander and you're not. So,
Boom.
so it's one of those things. You don't get back at someone, trying to get to their level, even though you might be thinking it, and I was thinking it. But
Yeah,
you get back at them with, not even get back with them, but you prove and you show them that you're professional, you're good at your job, you're damn good at your job, and you know what it takes to get it done. And here are these accolades. I owe you nothing. I don't have to explain anything to you. You talk to my boss why I got picked and you didn't. And as a woman, let's see what we could do to make you shine. So,
man. Stronger
so
together.
that's
Yep.
so I would say that award, when I see it, and I always smile. I
I
go,
love
"Mhm."
that. That is so dope. So speaking of that, so like, okay, so you're like myself, you're into fitness, right?
Oh yeah,
And so like fitness is my passion, and it's been my passion, ever since I came out, turned it into my career in the civilian world. And so in 2001, you were on Tough as Nails.
yeah.
Okay.
2021. Yes.
2021, you were on Tough as Nails. So with that, how did your time in the Navy and Air Force help prepare you for those challenges? And how much training did you have to do to prepare for that show?
So I would say the Navy and Air Force prepared me a lot, because it was a lot of the challenges was about mental fortitude, mental toughness.
Yeah.
A lot of those challenges were not 15 minutes. Those
Mhm.
challenges were like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. And it was hot during the time we filmed. Even though it was supposed to be a cool time of the year, it was around the LA area. It was like 90 degrees. And and there are times when you didn't feel your best, but you needed to suck it up and get it in there for your teammates and to make sure you weren't eliminated.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the Navy kind of the Navy and the Air Force helped me in that way, because as a leader in the leadership positions I was in up until I was colonel, there's times when you have to step forward, there's times when you have to step back. And then as a pilot, there are times I've sat in the aircraft for hours on end in the U-2, long, long missions, 9, 10 hours, no bathroom, eating food out of a tube.
Wow.
And now I'm doing these challenges that I'm out of my element, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do it the best I can, and I'm gonna learn on the fly, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give up about it. So, I always used to say I will not stop until my body fails, and that was real. I mean, that's what
Ah,
I brought to the table. So,
that's dope.
um, yeah, so I think that's what the military instills in you. It instills a sense of discipline and persistence.
Yeah.
And if you're ever going to do a reality show that's physical like that, yes. And the personal, the training part, I was training people already. I was doing boxing, but for this particular show, you had to do what's called the brutal truth,
Mhm.
which is burpees. You had to hit about 100 burpees in 8 minutes, and they do it in 30-second intervals.
Yeah.
And if you fail to hit 10 burpees in 30 seconds, you have to wait 30 seconds. So every time, and then you have to do nine, and you have to keep doing nine until you
Yeah.
fail.
Like a
So the
pyramid.
big thing
Yeah.
is, Yeah, so the big thing is if 100 burpees in 8 minutes seems like a lot if you could do it like I'll do 12 a minute and it's not a
Yeah.
big deal. No, but if you have to do 10 every 30 seconds, that's another level.
Yeah. That's funny. And speaking of burpees, it was so funny even this morning. One of the groups I train, I had to go into military mode. I had this lady, she always shows up late, okay, for the training. So I was like, yo, check this out. I was like, hey, you show up late tomorrow, and this was yesterday. I was like, you show up late, every minute you're late, you owe me 10 damn burpees. She showed up 8 minutes and 30 seconds late today. I said, yo, we can't get this class started until you knock out them damn burpees.
Oh,
Drill sergeant mode.
did she do it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Woo!
The whole listen, hey, listen, I went to drill sergeant mode. The whole class had to sit there and wait. So we on a time schedule now. So we waiting on you. So you're gonna get every burpee, and I'm counting them.
Well, good on her, but I bet you she won't be late again.
You won't be late. You're gonna get your butt in there for that warm up. Be on time. If you ain't 10 minutes late,
Yeah.
10 minutes early, you're late, Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Don't put that on me. Oh man. Okay, so can you tell us about so you had a book come out a couple years ago.
I did.
Shatter the Sky?
Yes. So it came out in 2021 after I did the show.
Okay.
And Shatter the Sky. It's a memoir about how a girl from the Bronx comes to be the first and only Black female pilot to be, to fly the U-2, and then further on, as I leave the military, as I put the military behind me, and the
Yeah.
trials and tribulations of going from military service all the way to, be a civilian again, because
Yeah.
you're never the same. Like once you go in the military and you spend half your life in the military,
Yeah. Say it's
never the
totally
same.
different. You keep going. I gotta plug up before it goes out on you. Keep going.
Oh
I'm
no.
listening.
All right, so yeah, so it's the transition for a lot of people from military life to civilian life could be difficult. And
Yeah.
there's we have a lot of vets today. I mean, veteran suicides are high,
Yeah.
and because of PTSD, because of just trying to get back to lead some type of normal life. And for a lot of people that could be difficult. And I think, having a good routine, working out, that helps keep your mind focused and engaged.
Yeah.
um, and you don't have to retire from the military. I mean, I know some guys in the army. A friend of mine, he spent 6 years he was in Haiti, and he still suffered from a lot of things that he saw.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's real.
number one,
Real.
yeah, i
Yeah.
tell i tell people in the military, you're not alone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's difficult for all of us. We all struggle in our own ways, but you got to get that support system that can help you.
Yeah.
Get that routine down by working out.
Yeah.
Reach out to those people in the military, whether that's at your workplace or not, that can help you and to help you get through these times. I mean, because dealing with straight up civilians like coming in late, 8 minutes, or just we and as a military person, you have to understand we got these skill sets that are
Yes.
powerful, that put us heads and shoulders above others,
Yep.
and we have to remember how special and how golden that is, and don't look at it as a bad thing, but just look at it as I I could do so many other things in the civilian field,
Yeah.
because how many civilians just can't come on time, are not motivated by their job,
No
can't be
discipline.
meticulous,
Yep.
can't just do the work.
No values, no morals. I mean, for real, I really, for me, I really feel like it's a sad time, and even with the transition coming out of the military and the civilian world, like it was hard for me, I mean, hell, it's still hard now a lot of the times because it's, you feel like you're not in the US. You feel like you're overseas or something because everything is so foreign here. you know
Right.
all, all these things that you were trained on, the discipline, the moral, the values, the work ethic, and all these things, and you're the best of the best. But then you come to the civilian world and it's like, okay, no, we need you to level down. You're doing too much. Oh my gosh, y'all are those crazy ones. Like, oh my goodness, hold on, you did what? Like, it's like you're in foreign, and then it's like, the as far as even with protecting yourself, it seems like, veterans, the whole thank you for your service, that's why I told you in the beginning, like how much I really, I appreciate your service. It's not just a thank you, it's an appreciation. And I'm very thankful, what I mean, because of what you did. Because here it is, like I was on the ground, you're in the sky. You got my 6 and I got your 6, but then you come out into the civilian world, you don't feel like, US has your 6.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta be careful. So yeah, I agree with you 100% about that. It's the further I go on, I'm just really glad that I was able to do the reality show because that just put me in a situation where you were with, you know, I was with 4 other people on the team and it was high stress.
Yeah.
And, it was kind of reminiscent of being in the military and you form these bonds. And then when where I live now, I found some people who are just good people who are civilians who got my back, or they'll,
Yeah.
we have family in common, and they're just good people. But it
Nice. You
takes a
have your
while.
circle.
So yeah, I have my small circle. So for all those out there who are transitioning, just be patient and just give it some time, protect yourself, but do those things like working out,
Yeah.
eating right, seeing a counselor if you need to, and have that person that you can talk to get
Yeah.
you through this, because it's tough and we all go through it.
There we
Not
go.
alone.
Not alone. We're stronger together, y'all. Reach out, get that help. Okay.
Yeah.
Closed mouths don't get fed. Don't be scared. So here we go.
I
So
like that.
so listen. So I'm gonna get raw and real with you. Okay.
All
It
right.
brings us to the show. Okay. I always like to get raw and real at the end and ask a question just to get a perspective. So the question, I've been interviewing quite a few vets here recently. And my raw and real with my vets, what is your thought on the state of the US right now when it comes to what are your thoughts on everything that's going on, from all this madness with, these bills, the 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 laws, our soldiers. What is your thoughts on the state of I mean, us as a country right now? I mean, do you think if we were to go to sit here and go to war, like, are we still the elite? Are we still the top?
Okay. Oof. So many ways to hit this answer. Um, part of me feels like we're in a war right now.
Yeah,
Like we are in a war on a cyber scale.
yeah,
We're in a war economically. Um, you know, when it comes to social media,
oof,
infiltration, whether you're
yeah,
looking at, let's talk about TikTok, let's talk about all that. You know, this is it's like winning the hearts and minds, or distracting the hearts and minds of people as to what the bigger picture is and what's going on.
yep,
And I'll be honest, I just deleted my TikTok. I just switched my phones over and I took my TikTok off. And
okay,
I used to joke and say I didn't care about TikTok because I know China knows who I am anyway. I mean, when I
yeah.
flew to YouTube back in 2005, they had an article about me. It was written in Chinese. I had to translate. So I was like, oh, they know I'm here.
They know I'm
So
here.
yeah, but I think it goes a lot deeper than that. I think as a country, we are very distracted, and we're distracted with the wrong thing. We're distracted with self interest about how we are perceived on social media, how how many likes we could get, how many clicks we could get, instead of like, how can I be this? How can I be proud to be my authentic self? And how can I help my neighbor next to me? How can I be kind to them? And how can I, help in any way?
Yeah,
And I think we need to get out of that mindset. And it's hard because you have politicians that say things and sign bills and are incredibly, they have their base, but their base is just very superficial. They
yep,
want certain things and they have no interest in helping the, sorry, that was a door close. They have no interest in helping those people who are underserved and underprivileged.
yep.
It's a lot of self-interest. It's a lot of selfishness.
It's a lot of
And I
self.
think
Yeah,
And I think that's very hard. So our state is one of we gotta, quite frankly, we gotta get our heads out of our asses,
There we
or
go. Man,
this is gonna seriously, this will seriously hurt us in a way
man.
because now, people in the military are fighting, might be, disenfranchised, may be very tired. I mean, we've been surging for a long time in the military when we were in, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't really stopped. So at what point are we going to break? Probably
Yep.
this is now not the time.
Yeah.
So, and I talk to a lot of military people who are tired, a lot of military people who
Yeah.
want to move on and do some other stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and I mean, which is rightfully understood. I mean, because again, we are the 1%, and the what we do, like majority of people couldn't never do, but
right,
then, when you do it and then you transition, and even with the current military, them seeing like, okay, hey, this is what I have to look forward to. Like, I put my life on my line for my country, and this is how my country thanks me. It is tiring, it's a lot.
yes.
Yeah, it is a lot. Yep.
So I think we have to get our priorities straight. And I think we have to, you know, first of all, we got to care about our people more and be sincere about it and be true about it. And I think we have to show a lot of more love to our military, especially those who are suffering from mental health issues.
Amen.
And when you when you show that authenticity, then I think people will be more in the game. I mean, this is just leadership 101.
Yeah.
You take care of your people that take care of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, the state of the US, it's kind of on that balance right now.
Yeah.
And if we want to do well in a future war, because they say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when,
Hmm.
then um, we need to get our minds right and our eye on the ball. So that's
And
as
get out
real
and
as I
get their
can say.
heads out their ass, like you said, straight up.
Yes. I mean, you just
Yeah.
you just have to. Your source of people coming from the military will be in those communities that might be underserved, or you're going to look for those professionals who are those doctors and those lawyers. If they're too wrapped up on social media and doing all that stuff, they're not going to have that interest.
Yep.
They have to look to people that are, um, you know, I don't know. I think military people, we have that fire in our belly
Yeah.
to want to help our country. We're proud to be Americans. We're
Yeah.
proud of all the opportunities that it offers, even though we're not perfect. And we have to portray that. We have to give that to other people, so they say, "Yeah, I want to do that too. I want to protect what we have." Because
Yeah.
yeah, we make a lot of mistakes.
Yep.
You know
Nobody's
this.
perfect. Like, nobody's
Nobody's
perfect. Yeah.
during COVID. Lots of things came up. A lot of racial things came up. All this stuff. But what I love about this country is that we keep striving to be better. We strive to make amends. We don't go, this is how we are, so deal with it. Nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Merrill, man, and that's what I love to hear. That's what I love to see from my fellow veterans in here, because, like I said, one of my biggest things is we are stronger together, and I just love hearing all my fellow vets. I mean, everybody's on the same page, and like, we're still in the fight, and we all have to, still be in this fight and come together to make this change and to help, because, like you said, we are the ones that we are the fighters. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And America needs fighters right now. Merrill, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I mean, it is truly an honor uh, and a blessing to be able to sit and talk with a fellow vet, but not only a fellow vet, a dragon lady up there, a fighter in the sky. You know what I mean? I think it's pretty dope what you did, what you've done for this country, and what you continue to do. And I just want to thank you. And for all my listeners, listening, how can they follow up with you? How can they see what's going on with you? Like, where can they go to get in contact with you?
Right. So thank you so much, PJ, for having me. Um, you could contact me I'm on Instagram, Dragon Lady 788. 788 is my pilot number in the YouTube community. You can catch me on LinkedIn under Merryl Tengesdal. Facebook, I really don't look at Facebook a lot. So if you message me, it may take like 5 days for me to answer. Sorry. Instagram is really my home. And like I just said, TikTok is gone. And if you got Be Real, which is kind of silly, but I do Be Real too under Merrill Tengesdal. And then my website is merrilltengesdal.com. My shirts, I have it on the website right now. It's currently down because I just did I did a conference last week, so I took all my merch with me,
Okay.
and I have to inventory it, but it will be under merrilltengesdal.com. It's under Big Cartel. And
Okay.
so yeah, all proceeds go there. And then my book, Shatter the Skies on Amazon, and you can purchase it there as well. Partial proceeds go to Legacy Flight Academy.
Woof. Merrill, thank you so much. It's been such an
Thank,
honor and a blessing.
thank you.
I hope you
Thank you.
have yourself an amazing Friday, a great weekend, and I'm gonna keep in touch with you because I'm gonna have a veterans roundtable that I'm gonna want you to be a part of, where we sit down and
Okay.
chop it up with a lot of other fellow veterans, and we just get some raw and real talk going.
I would love to do that. And I forgot to say I have my YouTube channel too, so subscribe.
Ah, nice. And so YouTube channel is
Merrill Tengesdal.
bam. Yo, y'all go follow, keep up to date with everything that Merrill has going on. And again, one more time, thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. And go Army, beat Navy.
I'll let you have that because it's your show.
Merrill, thanks so much. Oh, man. And we will be talking with you again here soon. Thank
All
y'all.
right.
And it's been real.